I was taught that the sun is 93 million miles away. How about you? What were you taught? My guess is the same. Were you taught how we know it? Well, possibly your answer would be trigonometry. A hero of ball earth believers everywhere states this is the way that we know. You can verify the distance of the sun.
Correct.
Based off what?
Trigonometry.
Data. So using trigonometry, we can then figure out the distance to the sun. But the sun and the moon appear to be the same size in the sky. So if we use trigonometry, then I guess the moon is also 93 million miles away? Is that what you were taught? Me neither. So I'm confused. I thought that math could be used to give us these facts. Does math tell us what reality is? Because the same religious zealot hero has also repeatedly cried,
Math is reality.
Were you taught this? Well, if it is reality, then the sun is 93 million miles and can't be, say, 229 million miles. Both can't be true, right? Both are certainly not reality. So obviously, if
math is reality,
then math must be able to tell us which is right, 93 million or 229 million.
Houston, we have a problem.
How true is the model of the solar system that we have? Well, ask any astronomer or fanboy of NASA or liar like Deceive McCrae, and you'll get told it is 100% fact. It is as true can be. Well, I shall disprove this at once and show how a presupposition, dogmatic faith can make their religious beliefs seem true when they are anything but that. So, we've been told that the sun is 93 million miles away. How do we know this? Well, let's begin with some facts. What do we know about the sun? Well, it emits light. What else? Well, the rest is a lot like the idea of Santa delivering gifts to every child on Christmas Eve. Even little children think it sounds crazy, but because authority figures are the ones telling them the story, and they don't know any better, and, well, cookies are eaten in the morning, it becomes believable to most children. So much the same, the ideas of the distance to the sun come with the same nuggets. You and I might not know any better, so we look to the authorities for the truth. So we are told that it's 93 million miles, and with that comes some eaten cookies in the morning. They have filled our knowledge gap with their own cleverly constructed explanations of what we see, and then all we can see is what looks like beautifully wrapped presents, and then we find some cookie crumbs as evidence of their fictional Santa Claus. One way they do this is with the idea of angular size. So, back to our facts. The sun emits light. Anything else that we know about the sun? Sure, we know its angular size or its apparent diameter. This is the apparent size or angular diameter of a sky item. How large something appears in our eye or telescope. The sun and moon both appear to be about 31 or 32 arc minutes, or that's equal to 1/2 degree. So I want to point out something that I certainly wasn't taught in school, and it's no wonder why. Scaling invariance. Feel free to look it up on Wikipedia, and you'll see that in physics, mathematics, statistics, and economics, scale invariance is a feature of objects or laws that do not change if scales of length, energy, or other variables are multiplied by a common factor. As long as all of your inputs are scaled correctly, the entire body is indifferent. It doesn't vary. One of those things, the entire solar system model. But wait, the mathematics of the solar system is facts. Indisputable fact, right? Well, not when the entire models are based off of angular size, because angular size tells us what size something is in our eye, not its true distance or its true size. We need more info. So hold up here. I thought
math is reality.
It has to be. 2 + 2 = 4. That's reality. 30 + 15 = 45. Period. Well, is that true? A man has 30 cars and he added 15 cars. He now has 45 cars. Is this true? Well, if there was such a man and he did add said cars to his 30-car collection, then the statement is true. Is it reality? Well, I'd have to first prove said man exists, as do his 30 cars, as do the 15 he added. That makes it reality. So is math reality? Well, only when all elements of the equation are proven true is math reality. Is 30 + 15 45? Yes, true. Or is it? What if it was 30 + 15 half cars? Oh, that's different. We need to prove and know what each number refers to. If I have $3 million and I add $1 million, does that mean I have $4 million? Well, if I had $3 million in reality and added $1 million in reality, then I'd have $4 million. But to claim it is reality, I must first prove that I have what I claim. So if the entire model of the solar system is based off of angular size, who has proven the actual distance and sizes of said items? Is the solar system reality, or is it a cartoon? I mean, is the solar system a fact, or is it fiction? This clearly has to be solved already, correct? What if I told you it wasn't? What if it was all just numbers? What if it was all just math, and they wanted you to believe that math was reality, but they forgot about the other part? They have to prove all the elements of the math. Let me explain. So the angular size of the sun and moon is approximately 31 or 32 arc minutes, which equals 0.53 degrees. Now, that does work for a sun 93 million miles away and 864,337 miles wide. But it also works for a sun 229 million miles away and 2 million miles wide. Wait, what are you saying? The sun would look way bigger in the sky. No, it wouldn't. It would look the same as if it was 93 million, or if it was 46,701,000 miles away and 432,000 miles wide. The distances and sizes can be scaled indifferently. Our observations from Earth would be identical. If the sun was 23,351,000 miles away and 216,000 miles wide, it would be the same as if it were 11,675,000 miles away and 108,000 miles wide. Identical to the sun that's 6,053,900 miles distant and 56,000 miles in diameter, which is no different than a sun 3,026,900 miles away and 28,000 miles wide, which is just the same as a sun 1.5 million miles away and 14,000 miles wide. Okay, hold up. What about our orbit around the sun? Well, sure. You know the distance, which is the radius of our orbit. 2 pi r gives us 9,504,780 miles as our yearly orbit. Divide that by 365 and that by 24, and you get 1,085 miles per hour as our new speed instead of 66,000 miles per hour. And our observations change none. And since you feel no spin or travel at all, well, then nothing changes at all. Man, math is so reality. Whether the sun is 756,730 miles away and 7,000 miles wide, or even, heaven forbid, 3,500 miles away and 32 miles in diameter. It makes no difference. You liar. What about eclipses? Well, as I said earlier, we can't just change the sun. We have to scale the moon too. So yes, as long as you divide or multiply by the same number, you'll be fine. So yes, the moon is 0.53 degrees as well, which works out to being 233,400 miles away and 2,159 miles in diameter, as it is about 400 times as small and 400 times as close as the sun. But it would work the same if the sun was 100 times as big and 100 times as far, so that the moon was actually 58,376 miles away and 540 miles wide. Well, then an eclipse would happen because the sun is 100 times as far, so 6,053,900 miles away and 56,000 miles wide. Or the moon could be 14,594 miles away and 135 miles wide, or 864 miles away and 8 miles wide. Or even, heaven forbid, 3,567 miles away and 33 miles wide. It could be half that size, 1,729 miles away and 16 miles wide, and then the sun could be double at 3,567 miles and 32 miles wide. Same observation from Earth, of course, because math is reality. Now, some things could help us determine which distance was more likely to be correct. For example, the inverse square law of light, that says that given a certain brightness or intensity, it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. So if we know how bright the moon is, each time we half our distance, the brightness increases by 4 times. So you see, we can say the moon is 100 lumens, and it doesn't really matter which number we place on there, as the result will be the same. So at 240,000 miles, we have 100 lumens. At 120,000 miles, we have 400 lumens. At 60,000, we have 1,600 lumens. At 30,000, we have 6,400 lumens, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth, till we get down to 1,000 miles distance. When we're 1,000 miles away from the moon, the lumens should be 6,553,000. So if we divide that by the original 100, we see that from 1,000 miles away, the moon would be 65,530 times brighter than it is from Earth. Is that what we saw? Well, here's some photos from Apollo 17 from 800 miles from the moon. And you tell me, is that moon 65,530 times as bright as it is from Earth? Of course not. So, one thing or the other isn't true. Either we've never been to the moon, or the moon is far closer. What can't be true is the moon is the distance that they tell us, and that man has been there. Another way that we can determine if the distances we are given are correct is to imagine the sun, I don't know, say it's 1,000 miles away. The sun would take up the entire day sky, correct? Okay, so let's make it now 93 million miles away. Okay, now if you hold a dime out at arm's length, that's about the size of the sun, at 93 million miles or 8 light minutes. So now double that distance. Well, that's now a light 16 minutes. Okay, double it again. Well, now we're at a light half hour. Okay, double that again, and we're now at a light hour, and I doubt you'd be able to see the sun. But let's multiply that by 24, and now, finally, we're at a light day. No chance you would see the sun. But now we still have to multiply that by 365 times more to get to a light year. Think about that, people. How would we see any star, considering no star is that close? Nonsense, mathematical reality. I mean, really, to think that we could see 25 trillion miles, remember that a trillion seconds is 31,000 years. Think about that and realize that the closest star, other than the sun, is 25 trillion miles. Yole. Now, wait a minute, you yell. Wouldn't the planets have to change as well? Well, of course. Their orbits, sizes, and distance would all be scaled appropriately. Here's an easy way to see it in action. Take these numbers 0, 3, 6, and start doubling. 12, 24, 56, 108. Okay, now add 4 to each. So 0 becomes 4, 3 becomes 7, 6 becomes 10, 12 becomes 16, 24 becomes 28, 56 becomes 60, and 108 becomes 112. Now divide by 10. So 4 becomes 0.4, 7 becomes 0.7, 10 becomes 1.0, 16 becomes 1.6, 28 becomes 2.8, 60 becomes 6.0, and 111 or 112 becomes 11.2. Now, does that look familiar? Well, it should. 0.4 is Mercury's AU, 0.7 is Venus, 1.0 is Earth, 1.6 is Mars, 2.8 is Ceres, 6.0 is Jupiter, and 11.2 is Saturn. Now, of course, those are approximate numbers as they change based on their distance from the sun, which is changing all the time. So now you have the distances from the sun, 93 million miles times the AU. So Mercury is 37.2 million, Venus is 65.1 million, Earth is 93 million, Mars is 148.8 million, Jupiter is 558 million, and Saturn's about 1 billion. Of course, you can then figure out exactly what their distance from Earth is, with Mercury being 56 million, Venus being 26 million, Mars being 34 million, and Jupiter being 367 million miles from Earth. But what if 1 AU is actually 3,567 miles, not 93 million? Well, 3,567 is to 93 million as 1 is to 26,072. So scale it all by 1 26,072nd, or I'm not really sure. Then you can even figure out the distance from the Earth. So Mercury is 2,147 miles, Venus is 997, Mars is 1,304, all miles from Earth. Now wait, wouldn't they need to be smaller? And, well, of course, scaling invariance. So Mercury is actually 2,147 miles away, and with its angular size, it would come out to 0.11 miles, so that would be 603 feet in diameter. And Venus at 997 miles from Earth would have a 0.28 mile diameter, or 1,520 feet. And Jupiter would be 14,076 miles away and 3.40 miles wide. And we can check our work as well, because 3.4 miles is 1/10 of the sun size at 33 miles in diameter, which matches the current model, with Jupiter 84,000 miles wide and the sun 860,000 miles wide. No, you cry. Give me my Santa back. Wouldn't gravity be different? Well, would it? Well, here's the thing. Whatever amount of gravity has been given to the Earth or the Sun or any of the other planets is based off mass. Well, we can easily just change the mass of the Sun. Who is weighing it? The answer is no one. And we can change the mass of the Earth. Who is weighing it? Cavendish? In his shed? Give me a break. And quit it with your religious stories. It's becoming silly. But clearly, the silliest thing ever said is...
Math is reality.
Which is the biggest load of bull ever stated as fact. I mean, really. If you ever hear that clown trying to assert that again, tell him you don't care about his religious presuppositional beliefs, and then tell him that you'll listen when he has some sort of proof or scientific evidence for any of the mathematical figures that his holy priests have taught him to calculate. I'm very proud that some of you have become quite proficient at your religious dogma. I, however, am interested in the truth. And all of you ballers have proven again and again that you have no interest in the truth at all. What you need to realize is that fighting against it is futile. Your scientific evidence for your religious beliefs is nil. What you think you have is nothing more than crumbs from Santa that you continue to try and force on us as meaning Santa exists. I know it sucks to find out that your parents are actually the ones who ate the cookies and left the crumbs for you to find. Well, your physics books have been written with every detail about every single crumb, and they can be calculated and divided, multiplied and manipulated, chapter after chapter, lecture after lecture. But if you just use your own brain instead of theirs, you will see that there is no Santa and there is no 93 million mile distant sun. It's all just math, and math is not reality. No matter how many times or how many curse words that Red puts around it, it isn't reality. Do you get it yet, Red? And until you can come and bring something other than your religious dogma and pathetic attempts to recruit us as fellow parishioners, until you can actually provide evidence, not just some math that proves only that your model is one of a near infinite amount of possibilities with no evidence other than, but my holy book. Until you have more, and until you can prove that math is reality, then in your own words,
I recommend that you shut the fuck up.